Hi there. Let me ask you something that might sound strange. Have you ever felt like your legs were betraying you? Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, as if each day they carried just a little less strength than before. You're eating well. You've made the switch to healthy foods. You even reach for fruit instead of sweets because you were told that's what your body needs. But here's what no one ever told you: not all fruits are good for everyone. And for people over 60, some fruits, yes, even the ones labeled natural and wholesome, may be working against your body. They may be feeding inflammation, causing hidden sugar spikes, and silently weakening the legs you depend on to move, to stand, to live. You see, aging isn't just about what we lose, it's about what we no longer tolerate the same way. And food, especially fruit, plays a bigger role in our strength, our balance, and our comfort than most people realize. In today's video, we'll reveal 7 fruits that may seem harmless, but are quietly affecting your ability to walk, climb stairs, or stay steady on your feet. We'll also show you what to eat instead: fruits that protect your joints, support circulation, and help you stay strong from the ground up. So if you've been feeling those subtle changes, if your legs feel heavier, stiffer, or less reliable, type "I'm ready to learn" in the comments right now, because knowledge is power. And the first step to moving better is knowing what's been holding you back. Let's begin with a fruit that's been praised for its healing properties, but may be causing more pain than relief for seniors. Pineapple, the acid trap. You've probably heard it for years. Pineapple is anti-inflammatory. Doctors say it, nutritionists repeat it, and the health magazines, they rave about it. But here's something no one ever told you. For people over 60, especially those dealing with joint stiffness or poor circulation, pineapple might be part of the problem. Let me explain. Pineapple contains bromelain, a natural enzyme praised for its ability to reduce inflammation. But it also brings along something else: a potent mix of natural sugars and high acidity. And that's where things get tricky. When you eat pineapple, especially on an empty stomach or in large amounts, the sugar causes a sharp rise in your blood glucose levels. Now, in a younger body, that might be fine, but in a senior body with slower metabolism and delicate blood vessels, this sudden spike can restrict circulation, especially in the lower legs. Think about it. Have you ever had pineapple in the afternoon and later that evening your calves feel tight? Your knees swell a little more than usual? You feel an odd dragging sensation in your thighs, as if your muscles just aren't waking up? That's not just coincidence. That's your body reacting to sugar overload, to acidity, and to a silent drop in oxygen flowing to your joints. The acid in pineapple also irritates inflamed tissues, especially in people who already have arthritis or joint pain. And if you're taking common medications like aspirin, anti-inflammatories, or blood thinners, pineapple can interfere with their absorption, either enhancing the effects too much or blunting their power entirely. So what's the takeaway? You don't need to fear pineapple, but you do need to understand its effects on an older body. Maybe that leg pain isn't just aging. Maybe it's your healthy snack acting against you. So next time you see pineapple in your fridge, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me move or slowly holding me back? Because when it comes to strong legs and stable joints, what you eat matters more than ever. And speaking of trusted fruits, the next one is often called the ultimate muscle booster. But for seniors, it might be a trap in disguise. Bananas, the sweet muscle deceiver. If you're like most people, you probably grew up believing bananas were one of the healthiest fruits you could eat. They're soft, convenient, full of potassium, and often marketed as the ideal snack for energy and muscle support. And for years, you might have reached for one without thinking twice, before a walk, after a light workout, or just when you needed something easy on the stomach. But for seniors, especially those over 60, there's more to the story. Bananas are rich in potassium, yes, but they're also high in fast-acting carbohydrates and natural sugars. This means that while you may feel a short burst of energy right after eating one, your blood sugar levels can rise rapidly, only to crash not long after. That roller coaster can leave your body feeling more tired than before. Over time, this pattern takes its toll, especially on your legs, which are already working hard to support you each day. What many seniors don't realize is that bananas can also cause subtle water retention. It's not always obvious at first, but the signs creep in. Your ankles swell a little more in the evening, your shoes feel tighter, or you notice your knees stiffen when you stand up. For those managing heart health, fluid balance, or joint pain, this retention can add an extra layer of discomfort, often mistaken for just getting older. And there's another twist. Because bananas digest quickly, they don't leave you feeling full for long. That can lead to reaching for more snacks soon after, potentially adding even more sugar and calories to your day than you intended. What started as a healthful habit quietly becomes a cycle of fatigue, heaviness, and lingering inflammation in the joints. Of course, bananas aren't inherently bad. For someone with high activity levels and good circulation, they can be a gentle fuel. But for aging bodies, especially those dealing with arthritis, diabetes, or poor leg circulation, too many bananas too often can work against your strength rather than support it. So, if your legs have felt unusually heavy, your knees ache by mid-afternoon, or you find yourself getting winded sooner than usual, don't just assume it's aging. It might be time to take a closer look at the fruits you trust most, because what comes next is even smaller, even sweeter, and potentially more damaging. Let's talk about grapes. Grapes, the hidden sweetness that slows you down. We've all been told that grapes are good for us. They're often the centerpiece at the breakfast table, tossed into fruit salads, or gently popped into the mouth during a midday snack. They're small, fresh, and seem so harmless. How could something so simple be doing harm? But here's something most people don't realize. As we age, our bodies respond differently to sugar, even the natural kind. Grapes are packed with fructose, and while that's a fruit sugar, it doesn't mean it's harmless. In fact, in high amounts, fructose can quietly stress the liver, where it often gets converted into uric acid. And it's this uric acid that becomes the hidden enemy for your legs. When uric acid builds up in the joints, especially in the knees, ankles, and toes, it can trigger what feels like random discomfort. A sharp pain when you take the stairs, a burning feeling in your big toe when you lie down, a strange tightness after just a short walk. These aren't just signs of aging, they're signs of silent inflammation. And that's not all. Grapes are one of the easiest fruits to overeat. Their small size makes them feel like a light snack, but just 1 or 2 handfuls can spike your blood sugar dramatically. When that happens, insulin levels rise, inflammation increases, and circulation begins to slow, especially to the extremities like your legs and feet. If you've been noticing swelling around your ankles, heaviness in your calves, or a sense of stiffness that wasn't there before, grapes could be quietly playing a role. The effect doesn't show up overnight. It sneaks in slowly, gently dulling your energy and softening the strength in your lower body. The real danger isn't in one grape, it's in the habit. In the belief that healthy fruit can't hurt, we sometimes forget that even natural foods need to match our changing needs as we age. Grapes might be great for a young, active metabolism, but for those over 60, they might be doing more harm than help. If you're eating them regularly, thinking they're a safe, sweet choice, but you're also battling joint soreness or unexplained leg fatigue, it may be time to take a closer look at the bowl on your table. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm doing my part. I stay hydrated to flush things out. But what if that hydration is coming from a fruit that disguises itself as refreshing, but secretly wears your body down. Let's turn to a fruit that's 90% water, and yet can do more damage than you'd expect. Watermelon, the hydration illusion. Watermelon is often seen as the perfect summer fruit, cool, hydrating, and naturally sweet. For seniors, especially those living in warmer climates or trying to stay hydrated, watermelon seems like a no-brainer. It's light, it's easy on the teeth, and it doesn't feel heavy in the stomach. But here's what most people don't realize. That feeling of lightness may be masking something that's quietly weighing you down. Despite being over 90% water, watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes among all fruits. This means that as soon as it hits your digestive system, it breaks down into sugar at lightning speed. That sugar rush doesn't just give you energy, it floods your bloodstream with glucose, which can be a serious problem for seniors whose insulin sensitivity has declined with age. When blood sugar spikes like this happen frequently, they begin to damage the small, delicate blood vessels in the lower extremities, especially the legs, feet, and ankles. You may not notice it after one slice, but over time, these sugar surges reduce circulation and limit oxygen delivery to your muscles and joints. What starts as a harmless treat can slowly contribute to the very symptoms so many older adults struggle with: aching knees, swelling ankles, leg fatigue, and trouble standing or walking after sitting for a while. There's another layer to this. Many seniors already deal with low-grade chronic inflammation, whether from arthritis, past injuries, or metabolic changes. When you add a high-sugar food like watermelon to an already inflamed system, it acts like fuel to the fire. You may not feel it right away, but a few hours later, when your legs feel a little heavier or your joints seem more tender, that healthy fruit might be playing a bigger role than you think. And yet, because watermelon doesn't taste sugary in the same way as candy or soda, we often overeat it. One slice turns into 2 or 3. That adds up to a significant sugar load, all while we believe we're just staying hydrated. Now, let's be clear. Watermelon isn't inherently bad. It contains some vitamins and antioxidants, and for many people, it can be enjoyed in moderation. But if your legs have been feeling more tired lately, or if swelling has become more frequent, it might be worth reevaluating how often and how much you're eating this seemingly innocent fruit. Up next, let's shift from something sweet and watery to something tangy and acidic. It's often praised for immunity and energy, but for seniors, it might be quietly irritating your joints every single day. Let's take a closer look. Oranges, the acidic saboteur. Oranges are often seen as the golden fruit of health. They sit proudly in breakfast bowls, get juiced into morning routines, and are promoted as an immunity-boosting powerhouse. But for older adults, especially those managing joint pain or chronic inflammation, their bright image might be hiding a darker truth. Let's start with the science. Oranges are rich in citric acid, which gives them their signature tang. While this acid supports digestion in small amounts, it can also irritate the lining of joints and tissues, especially when those areas are already inflamed. For someone in their 30s or 40s, the body bounces back. But after 60, when joint cartilage thins and inflammation becomes more common, that extra acid can quietly fan the flames of stiffness and pain. Many seniors report feeling more achy in the knees, hips, or ankles not long after drinking orange juice or eating citrus-heavy meals. This is especially true in the early morning, a time when joints are naturally tighter and circulation is slower. That seemingly innocent glass of OJ, it could be amplifying discomfort without you realizing it. But there's another layer. Oranges may not taste overwhelmingly sweet, but they still contain a significant amount of natural sugar, particularly in juice form. When consumed without the fiber of the whole fruit, this sugar hits the bloodstream quickly, causing spikes in blood glucose. And with those spikes comes an inflammatory response, one that puts extra pressure on already strained leg muscles and joints. Even more concerning is how the body processes sugar as we age. Insulin sensitivity declines, which means the sugar lingers longer, causing more systemic inflammation. Combine that with acidic compounds, and what you have is a recipe for chronic low grade pain that quietly erodes strength over time. You might think, but I've always had oranges. And that's fair. This isn't about cutting them out entirely. It's about understanding how your aging body responds differently now than it did 20 years ago. What once gave you energy may now be silently contributing to that heavy feeling in your legs after a walk or the stiffness that creeps in during a quiet afternoon. The takeaway isn't fear, it's awareness. If you've been dealing with unpredictable joint pain, or if your knees feel more swollen after breakfast, consider what's on your plate. Sometimes the smallest adjustments bring the biggest relief. Up next, a fruit that looks so clean and crisp, many believe it's the safest option. But in reality, it carries a compound that may be making your legs hurt, especially when you're trying to sleep. Let's reveal what's hiding inside the humble green apple. Green apples, the overnight cramper. Green apples often carry an image of purity and health, crisp, clean, and packed with fiber. They're the go-to choice for those trying to eat light or make smarter snack decisions. But for older adults, especially those over 60, these apples may quietly be contributing to some of the most frustrating and overlooked nighttime symptoms: leg cramps, restless sleep, and morning stiffness. The issue begins with malic acid, the compound responsible for that sharp tang when you bite into a green apple. While this acid can be energizing in younger bodies, in aging systems, it can irritate the stomach lining and even trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive joints. If you've noticed more discomfort in your hips, knees, or lower back after eating apples in the evening, this could be why. But malic acid isn't acting alone. Green apples also contain naturally occurring sugars that, though less concentrated than in other fruits, still impact blood sugar, especially when eaten alone or late in the day. As we age, our metabolism slows and insulin sensitivity declines, which means that even small sugar spikes can cause trouble. The result? Disrupted sleep, nighttime restlessness, and early morning tightness in the legs and feet. For many, this becomes such a routine part of aging, they never question it. But your body might be signaling that it's not the years, it's the timing and combination of certain foods. And here's the surprising part: green apples are often eaten raw, without any balancing fat or protein. That means the acid and sugars hit your system fast and alone, especially problematic when you're about to wind down and your body's natural defenses are at their lowest. Add in age related changes in electrolyte balance, and what was meant to be a light snack becomes the very reason you're massaging your calves at 2 a.m. So, what's the solution? If you love green apples, you don't have to eliminate them. Try eating them earlier in the day with a small handful of walnuts or a smear of almond butter to buffer their effects. And avoid them before bed if you're dealing with chronic leg discomfort or disrupted sleep. Your joints and circulation may respond better than you expect. Sometimes the foods that feel safe are the ones that most deserve a second look, especially when your body is giving you quiet clues every night. Up next, a fruit that wears the disguise of a summer treat, but could be the worst sugar spike your joints face all season. Let's talk about mangoes and the hidden impact they have on aging legs. Mango, the sweetness that slows you down. Mangoes have long been seen as one of nature's gifts: soft, fragrant, and indulgent without guilt. For many people, especially seniors, it feels like the perfect treat. No processed sugar, no artificial ingredients, just natural sweetness from a tropical fruit. But beneath that golden flesh lies a truth we don't talk about enough. For aging bodies, mangoes can quietly fuel the very symptoms you're trying to avoid. Here's the reality: mangoes are extremely high in natural sugars, and they hit your bloodstream fast. One medium-sized mango can contain the sugar equivalent of multiple teaspoons, enough to trigger an insulin spike and an inflammatory response, especially in bodies over 60 where metabolism has slowed. And unlike fiber-rich fruits, mangoes are digested quickly, meaning there's little to buffer that sugar rush. Now think about what that does to your legs. Over time, those sugar spikes can lead to fluid retention, a feeling of heaviness, and inflammation in the joints, especially the hips, knees, and ankles. You might notice it as that familiar morning stiffness or that slow dragging sensation in your legs after a meal that once felt energizing. These aren't just signs of aging, they may be signs of internal inflammation caused by what you're eating. And mangoes are deceptive. Because they taste light and healthy, it's easy to eat too much. You don't stop at a slice, you finish the whole fruit. And then you feel that slight fogginess, the subtle fatigue, the tightness that makes you sit back down instead of staying active. Over time, those quiet moments add up to something bigger: reduced mobility and more pain than progress. But here's the good news: you're not stuck. You don't have to swear off all fruit or stop enjoying food. You just need to make a shift from foods that cause silent stress to those that offer quiet support. Now that you know what not to reach for, it's time to explore what truly helps. There are fruits that work with your body, not against it. Fruits that nourish your joints, reduce swelling, and support stronger, more stable movement. So let's make the transition from pain to power, from sugar spikes to steady strength. In the next section, I'll show you exactly which fruits help seniors walk lighter, feel better, and reclaim control over how they age. Let's keep going. What to eat instead: 5 fruits that heal. You've just learned about 7 fruits that may be quietly working against you. And while that may have come as a surprise, here's the good news. There are fruits that do the opposite. Fruits that actively support your joints, your circulation, and your energy levels. And you don't have to search far to find them. Most of them are already sitting in your fridge or just a short walk away at your local grocery store. Let's start with berries. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, and blackberries are loaded with antioxidants. They're low in sugar, gentle on your blood vessels, and powerful against inflammation. These tiny fruits help improve circulation, especially in the legs, making every step feel just a little lighter. Whether you add them to your oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or eat them plain, berries are one of the most effective ways to protect your mobility as you age. Next are cherries. Yes, they're sweet, but when eaten in moderation, they're incredibly helpful for anyone dealing with joint pain or stiffness. Cherries help reduce uric acid in the blood, which is a common trigger for gout and inflammation in the feet and knees. Just a small handful a few times a week can make a real difference. Then we have avocados. Unlike sugary fruits, avocados are rich in healthy fats that reduce internal inflammation and nourish your joints from the inside out. They also help stabilize blood sugar levels, giving you steady energy without the crashes that come with sweeter fruits. You can spread avocado on toast, add it to salads, or blend it into smoothies. It's one of the most versatile and joint-friendly fruits out there. Now let's talk about papaya. Soft, sweet, and often overlooked, papaya contains enzymes that help reduce inflammation and support digestion. For seniors who struggle with bloating, joint stiffness, or sluggish energy, papaya can be both soothing and healing. It's easy on the stomach and gentle on aging joints. Finally, we come to pears. Simple, satisfying, and subtly sweet. Pears, especially when paired with fiber or protein, release energy slowly, helping you stay full and focused without spiking your blood sugar. That means less fatigue, better circulation, and fewer aches after meals. These 5 fruits don't just taste good, they work in harmony with your body, especially after 60, helping you stay strong, mobile, and independent. Now that you know which fruits to embrace, let's talk about how to make these changes stick, because knowledge is only power when you act on it. Your action plan: fruit smart eating after 60. It's one thing to learn what's helpful, it's another to make it part of your life. But here's the good news: you don't need a complicated diet. You don't need to cut out fruit. You just need to choose the ones that serve you best at this stage of life. Start small. If berries aren't already part of your morning, try adding a few to your cereal or yogurt. Replace your afternoon banana with a sliced pear and a few walnuts. Craving something creamy? Blend avocado into your smoothie instead of mango. Need a light snack before bed? A few chunks of papaya are easier on your body than a sugary apple. These changes may seem minor, but over time, they build. They strengthen your body. They reduce inflammation. And most of all, they help you feel more energized, more steady, and more in control. You're not giving up fruit. You're upgrading it, matching your nutrition to your age, your needs, and your goals. If you've stayed with me this long, then I know you're not here for quick fixes. You're here to feel better. And now, I want to leave you with one final thought. You're not weak. You were just uninformed. For years, you've been told that fruit is always good. But the truth is, after 60, your body changes. And that means your choices should too. If your legs have felt heavier lately, if stairs take more effort, if your joints ache more than they used to, it's not just age. It could be the foods you've been told were helping. But now, you know better. You've learned which fruits may be holding you back and which ones can help you move forward with less pain, better strength, and more energy. And that knowledge is power. So don't let this be just another video you watched. Let it be the one that changed how you eat, how you feel, and how you move through the world. Comment "stronger legs" if you're ready to put this knowledge into action. Like this video if you learned something valuable. And subscribe for more life-changing guidance designed just for you. Because after 60, your life isn't slowing down, it's shifting into wisdom. You've got this, and I'll be here every step of the way.